So thanks again, and no. Are you like weed whacking? What are you doing? Oh, thank you so much. This little guy had to go to the emergency vet yesterday because you see those things under his chin? He decided to rip one off all on his own last night, and he couldn't have been bothered. He didn't even care, but there was blood everywhere, so yeah, that was fun. What are you doing? Hello? In my last video using this palette, hey guys, what's going on? Hey guys, what's going on? I'm a little mouse. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and today we are creating this sweet look right here using the Jaclyn Hill palette, volume 2. You guys let me know in my last video when I used more of the neutrals in the palette that you wanted to see how I would use the brighter colors, the neons. So that's exactly what we're doing today, and you guys know I am keeping it wearable. If you are new to my channel, hello. I like to keep my makeup wearable, but I still like it to pack a punch. So I'm showing you all of my tips and tricks on how I do that with the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette and this bright neon look, but it's still wearable. So I'm gonna keep this intro real short and sweet. If you guys are interested in seeing how I do that, go ahead and keep watching. All right, you guys, base makeup is on. If you're interested in seeing what's on my face, go ahead and check the description box down below. Nothing new there. I followed my typical routine. I am very routine when it comes to my base, so I thought we would go ahead and skip over that and just get into the eyes. I did go ahead and prime my lids with a MAC paint pot, soft ochre. The key with this for me, if you have dry eyelids like I do, is going in with the most minimal amount. So I literally just tap my finger in there, and then that will spread all across my eye, and that kind of covers the discoloration and acts as a good base. Sometimes I even take my little beauty sponge and I'll even work over that as well to take off any excess. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. So we are mainly going in today with Positivity, which is this shade right here. You guys said you wanted to see a brighter look, but you guys know me, I like to keep my looks wearable, which is exactly what we're gonna do today. We're gonna be mixing in a little bit of Certified towards the inner corner area, the other way, Brittany, just so we can kind of tone things down a bit, and then we'll see where we go from there. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually start off with my Sigma Detail Blending Brush, my E27. I used a lot of Sigma brushes in my last video, and yes, I do have a code with them. It's BrittanyNichole, just like my YouTube name, Nichole. I'll leave it down below as well, and it's 10% off. Feel free to use anybody's code you want. You don't have to use my code. I don't think I'll ever be paid by Sigma because I'm just not a big enough of a YouTuber for that, but I just want to help get you guys as much money off as possible. So definitely get a code for Sigma. There's plenty out there. So taking that brush, I'm going to dip into Positivity, and we're going to start to work this from outer corner basically to right about there, and then from here in we're going to go in with the Certified colors. So I'm going to tuck my hair behind my ear so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the one thing I'm worried about here, and as you guys know, I'm just patting this on the eye. There's like no fallout whatsoever with this palette. It's truly amazing. I really do love this formula. It's a lot different than any other Morphe palette I've ever used, so I'm not worried about fallout at all, but I am worried about staining with this color. When I was playing with this shade a little while ago, I went to clean off my brush, and it did look like it was kind of staining the brush a little bit, so I'll let you guys know down below if this ends up staining my eyelids at all. Hopefully not, because the last thing you want is like a pink stained eyelid, you know what I mean? But you could see how pigmented it is. I'm going in with very, very light pressure, and I'm not extending out past my lower lash line. I'm just acting like my lower lash line is carrying up, and I'm not gonna go outside there. We will blend the edges so they're not so harsh, but yeah, the pigmentation and formula on this, really, really nice. I like this brush as well because I can kind of use it to blend a little bit into the crease, which is really nice. Okay, so that is just Positivity all over the lid. Now I'm gonna grab my Smith 256, use whatever flat brush you have. I like this one because it comes to a point, so I can really kind of get in that inner corner. And I'm gonna grab Certified, which is that cream shade in the palette. I'm gonna kind of tap off any excess, and I'm gonna, like, it's so pigmented. It's just so pigmented. I'm gonna move my hair out of the way first of all, and I'm gonna just kind of pack that where I haven't placed any color yet. and then I'll just tap right at that line right there, and then we'll tap back over it with Positivity as well to make sure it looks nice and blended. Whenever you take a cream shade in the inner corner with another color that's brighter or darker, I feel like it automatically just makes it look a little bit more wearable. Yes, it looks super stark right now, and we will end up tapping over that a little bit with some excess of Positivity, but I just think this helps make any kind of look a bit more wearable. And whenever you pop a lighter color in the inner corner, you look more awake, which your girl needs that. Okay, so obviously we need to blend everything, but before we do that, I'm gonna just take that Sigma brush, the first one we used with Positivity, and I'm gonna start to kind of blend over here to soften this line. And then, like I said, we're gonna just kind of carry it over and pat right on top of, what was that called? Certified, to give that a little bit more of like a pinky look, so it's not quite so stark. I like to do kind of like pulling and patting motions with this process here. And then you can feel free to add wherever necessary. See how it just kind of tones it down a little bit? If you did like the, you know, more stark white, you could totally just blend the edge like this and leave some of the cream. All right, you guys, so we're gonna start to blend now. I'm grabbing my Sigma Precision Firm Blender E42. I've already started to do it on this eye. We still need to blend a little bit more, but I wanna show you what I do here. So I'm grabbing this because it has a really dense, long brush head basically. So I'm not gonna start blending with my brush down like this, because then it's gonna take all that pigment off the eye, and that's where we want most of the pigment. I'm not bringing this up really high. If you guys have seen my past videos, you know typically I'll kind of bring my crease color up into the orbital bone, like up here, and then I'll bring it in here. When I'm working with bright neon shades like this, I don't want to get into that like Instagram makeup look, so I just want to keep it more close to the lash line, if that makes sense. You do whatever works for you, but that's what I find looks most flattering and how you make neon shades like this look wearable. So I'm gonna hold my brush out like this. I don't wanna do this because it's gonna remove all of that shadow once again. So I'm gonna try to keep my brush out, and then I'm just gonna really lightly feather these edges. I might actually dip a little bit into Love Handles right here, which is kind of a, you know, peachier brown shade, so it'll just help with the blend a little bit. But I'm gonna just start out by blending the edges just super, super lightly. I am barely touching my skin, and we're just gonna make it look like it basically fades into nothing as it goes up. I mean, it really couldn't get easier with this formula. So I'm dipping into Love Handles a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and add that right here. Basically just using that to get the shape that I want. I'm gonna switch over to a Morphe M507 as well and use that to blend. The M507 just has a little bit of a more of a dome and like a wider brush head, so it's just gonna disperse the color a little bit more than the Sigma shade is. And then after I do this, I'll just re-intensify with Positivity as needed. What I really like about this shade as well is you can continually build it up, and it doesn't get to that point where it starts to get patchy. A lot of pigmented neon colors get patchy really quick as you build them up. This does not. All right, so that only took like a couple seconds of blending. It really does blend so nicely, but I do wanna round this out so we can get the big picture look. So I'm gonna take Positivity, the same shade we've been using on the lid, and I'm gonna work that under the eye. You could go in with any number of neon colors in this shade under the eye, maybe the yellow shade or the purple shade, or even the like super magenta pink shade if you wanted to, or even a burgundy shade might look really pretty under the eye. And if you wanted to keep it neutral, you could go in with one of those more neutral shades. Many options here, but I think it looks a little more wearable, and it's a little more my style, using the same shade we used on the lid under the eyes. So I'm using the smallest little pencil brush I have. This is the AOA Studio E134. See how small that is? And I'm doing this because I don't want to use something that's gonna really smoke it out under the eye. Again, I think this just makes it look a little more wearable, and this isn't one of those shades that is gonna make you look sick under your eyes. Yes, it's pink, but it doesn't make you look like, you know, you have some kind of illness because it's like a neon hot pink. But see how that just kind of rounds it out? And I think I'm actually gonna go in with a yellow liner on the lower lash line to add a little bit of a pop, but feel free to do whatever you like. I just think this technique makes it a little more wearable. So once I do that, I can see now that I have the bigger picture because I connect the lower lash line to the upper lash line. I need to add a little more right here to round out the shape. All right, and then with just a big fluffy brush, this is my Alter Ego number 3. I'm just gonna give one final light blend to the edges here. All right, I cannot get over how pretty this is. It's so different for me. It's bright, but still wearable. I love it. So let's go ahead and add a little highlight on the inner corner. I'm gonna actually grab I'm In It, which is that highlight shade that I used in that last video, and I didn't know it had like a hot pink reflect to it, but I think it'll complement this look really well. So I'm just gonna go in with my Sigma Smudge E21 brush, really nice tiny brush here. I'm gonna pop that right in the inner corner. It's gonna give me that little kind of icy hot pink highlight. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I'm gonna apply some liner. I'm gonna do a black on my upper waterline. I'm gonna do a yellow on the lower waterline. Check down below for the brands that I'm using. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some of my Kiss Lash Trios. They're just these guys right here. These are like my absolute favorite. It's just little, you know, trio clusters of eyelashes, and I think they pack a punch, but they look a little more natural. And then of course I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Snap Mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, and I will come back here and this look will be complete. All right, you guys, lashes are on and this look is complete. Once again, if you're interested in the additional details of my makeup, just check the description down below. I always list everything down there, like my lips and then what's on my face, but I love how much this yellow liner just kind of elevated it to the next level. If you wanted to go in with something a little more neutral here, like a nude, you could definitely do that as well. I think a hot pink would be beautiful, but I am just so obsessed with this look. I love that it packs a punch, but it's still wearable. So thank you guys so much for asking me to step out of my comfort zone and get into some of these neon shades. Let me know what you guys want to see next with this palette. This is so inspiring to me. It's been a while, I think since the Tati palette, that I've been inspired by a palette, and I'm really, really enjoying the formula. So let me know what you guys want to see next down below. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. Definitely give me a follow on Instagram as well. I will always let you guys know on Instagram when I post a new video. I have my fur babies all over my Instagram story as well. So if you love cats and dogs, follow me on Instagram. So thanks again for watching. I hope you found this somewhat helpful, entertaining, or educational, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.